my opinions, I'm British bias when it comes to boxing, all that kind of thing, which is great. And it does tend to be that boxing is pretty much ruling my life now. It's all I think about, it's all I do. I'm looking at the news and that's all I talk about. But of course, me, like many other YouTubers, we do have lives outside of the genre that we do on our channels. And just for this one time only, I'm going to be doing, well, actually this will be one of 3 times that I'm going to be doing something like this, and it's meant for fun, it's meant for sarcasm, it's meant for a point of view. Not everything is to be taken serious, and if you do take any of this serious and you get offended by any of it, then maybe you're part of the problem rather than the solution. So again, I do apologise, but fuck you. Hence the opening title there, where there will be some things in here that some people may get a little offended by. At this point, you should have already turned off if you are a timid little bitch. Okay, so here are 10 things that I dislike about the UK and 10 things that I like about the UK. And again, it's just pure sarcasm. Sarcasm is the backbone of any great British person. It's what we do. In fact, we are probably one of the very few countries in the world where sarcasm is a known thing. Everything that we do is sarcasm. Our jokes are sarcastic. Our everyday in life is sarcastic. This is what this video is about. So sit back, enjoy, drop yourself an opinion. If you haven't subscribed, click that subscribe button. And yes, there will be language in this one. Okay, hence the reason why no monetizations, hence the reason why I clicked all the right buttons so I can't get in trouble for it. Okay, so anyway, if you're mortally offended, stop listening. Very, very simple. Okay, so 10 things that I hate about the UK. Or hate is probably a bit of a strong word, but here we go. Number 10, nipples. Wait for it. I'm not saying nipples as such, I'm saying that there seems to be a taboo over nipples. I know it's a worldwide thing, but it applies here as much as anywhere, and we should probably push for a little bit of a change. For example, a man can walk around the street topless, and that's perfectly acceptable, but women can't. Isn't a nipple a nipple? Why is it okay for women to see my nipples, but I can't see theirs? Why is this offensive? It's just a nipple. Do women not like men's chests? People say, well, because women's chests are sexually arousing. Well, do women not look at bare-chested guys on a hot summer's day and get aroused? Do women not? So the answer to this is either free the nipple, so men and women can walk around topless, and not just related to gender acceptance only. In other words, ban it totally or free it. Women, get your tits out. Number 9, British political correctness. Now, I could probably do a video just on its own with the many hundreds of examples I can give you, but I'm just going to give a little bit. Drop your comments below. Now, swearing is becoming taboo. Now, I understand around children, of course, swearing is not necessarily a good thing, especially when you're little, such as my 5-year-old hears me and my wife having a conversation, swear words come out sometimes, especially like when we're arguing, as all couples do, and then he comes out and says, "Hey, motherfucker." While it's kind of funny, it's not really acceptable. I understand that bit, okay? But, for example, you go in a pub, you're with your mates. Men, women, whatever, okay? Someone swears, then busybodies, not minding their own business, pulls people up for it because they don't like swearing, especially if there's children around. Well, there's a simple solution to this one. Don't bring your fucking children into a place where alcohol is consumed at large quantities, because they will grow up thinking it's normal to drink alcohol and socialise, and maybe turn into something that's probably a little bit later in this video. Another example is people think it's not right to be patriotic. As long as it's not genuinely hating on other nationalities, for me there's nothing wrong with being patriotic. Why shouldn't you support Britain? Why shouldn't you support, for example, the World Cup? Why shouldn't you support England? Why shouldn't you support Scotland? Why shouldn't you support Wales, Northern Ireland, etc.? What's wrong with that? As long as you're not hateful with it, there's nothing wrong with being patriotic. But people see it as a political correctness. No, you shouldn't. Everybody should be seen as equal. Well, fuck you. It will be the exact one. So that's pretty much my answer to anybody who thinks that it's not okay to be, for example, me on this channel, I am British biased when it comes to boxing. So I will promote and talk about British boxers more than I will any other nationality. If you don't like it, very simple, get fucked. Number 8, busybodies, which kind of goes into number 9 with the political correctness as well. But I'm talking about judgmental people. And yes, I'm making a video criticizing, so maybe I fall into that bracket too. But I don't do it while I'm out and about, stopping people in the street while shopping. Those people who pry into other people's lives when they should be looking at their own fucking lives and making changes first. Just because you think something should be done a certain way doesn't mean it's the right way. What business is it of yours to judge other people what car that they drive, what shoes that they wear, what style of clothes that they wear, how they have their hair, what food do they eat? It's none of your fucking business. If somebody likes to have pickle in their cheese sandwich, then let them fucking have pickle in their cheese sandwich without you having to have a comment. If somebody wants to be circumcised, it's entirely up to them if they want to be fucking circumcised, or if they don't want to be circumcised. It's none of your beeswax. But of course there are exceptions to the rule, which again we'll touch on as we go along this list. Some laws in the UK are shoddy. A lot of them. For example, if someone breaks into your house where your wife and your children are sleeping, it should be perfectly fine to end their life without going to jail for murder. Of course, I understand there are certain circumstances, but it seems to be that the law has to be that the burglar not only comes into your house, but has to commit the act in order for you to defend yourself. In other words, they have to already kill one of your kids before you can kill them without going to freaking prison. But why should we let a burglar make it obvious of their intention before we react? It's simple. If you break into somebody's home, then you are pretty much committing suicide for many reasons, right? As in, don't be in their fucking house. Also, keeping with this subject, did you know that if somebody climbs over your back garden fence and hurts himself, so for example, if you have something sharp on top of your fence, do you remember in like the old days, people used to have barbed wire around the garden fence or used to cement glass into them? Well, there's a reason why it's against the law. Because burglars might want to break into your back garden, and if they hurt themselves, guess what? They can sue you. Unbelievable. I mean, how is that even? I mean, also, you have to commit an act to get put into jail. As I said, with a burglar, they have to commit the act, as in they have to kill your child before you can actually do something about it. Talking about it is perfectly acceptable, but the act, of course, isn't. So, for example, people who talk about terrorism and brainwashing people, and then these people go out and do it. But it's fine to talk about it, just only becomes frowned upon if the act physically happens. For example, what was that dude with a bloody hook for a hand? He was out there preaching terrorism, preaching hate, as many people do. And it's perfectly okay because they're not actually committing a crime. It's a freedom of speech. What is that about? That is absolutely bullshit. So the answer to a lot of this one, don't break into people's homes and don't climb people's fences that you don't own. Don't preach hate on terrorism and everything will be fine. Number 6, foreigners. Wait before you jump into your political correctness. Hear me out. For me, everybody is welcome to the UK, of all nationalities, all races, all religious backgrounds. I have no bias towards anybody. In fact, my wife is foreign, and I've said it many occasions, my wife is Moroccan, so therefore she is Arab, okay? Now, I'm talking about those people who come here from their country. They come to Britain for a better life. Obviously, they earn more money here, all that kind of thing. But while they're here, they moan and they bicker and they bitch how crap Britain is compared to their own country. Very simple. There's a reason why you're here. Because you wanted a better life that your country cannot provide. So therefore, you must view this country as better than your country. If not, then fuck off to your perfect country, the one that you left. Very simple, right? Now you politically correct people can jump. No, actually, you can piss off. Number 5, the weather. This is the only country in the world where you can wake up, see a nice sunny day outside, it's looking like really, really hot. So you put on your shorts, your t-shirt, you go outside, but guess what? bring your jacket and your umbrella, because you never know, it could turn pretty nasty very, very quickly. But of course it goes the other way too. You know, you could wake up, it could be raining outside, could be blistering winds. So you wrap up nice and warm, and after a few hours the sun comes out, the rain dries up, it's really hot, and then you're left carrying half your fucking wardrobe in your hand as you walk in the street, which is a bit of an inconvenience. The answer is bring on climate change, fuck the ozone. Now, number 4, the price of living. I'm talking utility bills, gas, electric, water, all that kind of thing. In fact, everything goes up all the time. The council tax goes up, everything goes up, petrol goes up. And that would be fine if people's wages went up to match it, but it doesn't. For example, you may get a pay rise every year in work, as most people do, and maybe you might get, say, what, £50 a month, but yet your price of living has gone up £70 a month. It never quite works out. So people in the UK are actually getting poorer and poorer and poorer because the greedy companies like British Gas and npower and Virgin Media and Sky and all these kind of things keep on going up and up and up, and the government allows this crap. Absolutely dreadful. Complete pricks. Number 3, prisons. Now, you can pretty much go back to the other branches of political correctness and busybodies, because this is pretty much their fault, right? These people in prison who committed a crime because they were no good in society, they were a menace, they go inside to prison and they get free Sky, free cable, 3 meals a day plus snacks and internet for doing fuck all but lounging around all day after committing crimes in general life. And we, the taxpayer, have to contribute to these people having a goddamn holiday camp. The answer is quite simple. Make them contribute to society that they fucked up. Very, very simple. Bring back like chain gangs, so they go work on the roads, picking up litter from the streets. Do something, anything, so they can pay back to the country that they screwed over, rather than the life of luxury that they currently get. Make them do something useful for society, or just fuck them off like we used to. I don't know, send them to Australia. Ha ha ha. Right. But actually no, because Australia has great weather over there, so maybe they should stay here and we should all go to Australia. That's probably a bit better, right? Yeah. Don't get offended, Aussies. I love Australia. Number 2, lazy people. We here in the UK find too many people who are on the dole or job seeker allowance, whatever the hell it's called now, just because they want to commit benefit fraud, because they're just too damn lazy to get a job. Again, there are exceptions, right? But the UK allows this bullshit. Now, don't get me wrong, you know, there are many people out there who want to get a job, but they can't due to family commitments, disabilities, or other things, okay? So, of course, there are circumstances. But for me, if you're young and you're physically able to work, then you should actually work for your dole money. Now, maybe this is something that they do in shorts, but for me, I see too many teenagers walking around collecting benefits, buying scratch cards and energy drinks from the shops, you know, and doing nothing except riding around on their little BMX that they probably stole. Okay, but the government are giving them free money. For me, the government should make them pick up the litter, work in charity shops, do other things, do something for your money. If you don't work for it, you don't get it. Very, very simple. As I said, circumstances will dictate certain things, no doubt about it. But, you know, an example would be people coming from other countries, yet they can find a job. So why the fuck can't you? If somebody from another country whose first language is not English can come here and find a job, why can you not? Even if it means cleaning the toilets, whatever. There is no excuses for it. There is always something. But if you really, really need to be on the dole, at least work for it. I mean, that's pretty much my thing. But it seems that you know, there's like a lot of them. And unfortunately, they're youngsters. They really are youngsters. And the reason that they don't want to get a job is because they're bone idle, because they're too busy playing on a PlayStation all night, because it's just too important. Of course it is, because PlayStation is real life, and you know, you can't leave the game from your Football Manager or whatever it is that you're playing, because that's just too important, right? Very simple. Stop being lazy, get a fucking job. McDonald's are always hiring. Number 1, my number 1 hate, chavs. I hate chavs. Genuinely, I despise these people. I look at them and just looking at them offends my eyes. Okay? I can't be near them. I don't want to see them. Some of these people smell. These people who go on to Jeremy Kyle, I can't stand these people. These people who sit on buses and they smell, and it doesn't even enter their mind to buy a bar of soap and put it in some water and put it on your body. You stink. What is up with that? Surely to God you can smell yourself. If your armpits are stinking and if you smell like piss and shit, then there is an issue. Soap is not expensive. You can go into a Superdrug, you can buy, or Tesco's or wherever it is, and pick up a very, very cheap bar of soap if money is tight. Okay? Put soap on your body, put on a little bit of aftershave, bit of cologne, bit of deodorant. Use some shower gel. You fucking stink. Those people who walk to the shops, they drop off kids in school while still wearing their pyjamas and a dressing gown. Now, of course, this usually applies to women, of course, and yes, you know, being a chav is not exclusive to being a teenager and lazy wearing a baseball cap. No, not at all. But, you know, for me, I take my son to school every morning and I see women there with messed up hair, sleep still in their eyes, wearing a dressing gown that looks like hasn't been washed in a freaking 2 months, and pyjamas with white slippers. Why are you wearing white slippers when you're walking outside? They're covered in shit at the bottom. Absolutely ridiculous. Chavs, I hate chavs. And, you know, these people who just, you know, they can't get out of bed till past midday because they've been smoking weed and wanking all night with a dirty, unwashed willy. I mean, seriously, get out of bed, do something productive with your life. Because, you know, if you're lazy, it's contagious. You will continue to be lazy. That's just how it is. There's no need for chavness. There is absolutely no need for it. You know, these people who walk the streets asking for money while hanging around schoolyards and shops asking for a quid. You know, these kind of ones. Of course, we do live in a society where that's getting a bit less now. You know, these people now have internet and they create YouTube channels and become part of the LDBC. That's pretty much what they are now. Penny pinchers. That's their way of hustling, like you know, money out of people. But anyway, you know, these chavs, they have loads of kids but can't afford to even look after themselves. Yet these poor kids, these poor little bands are just living in filth. Yet they blame the government for not giving them enough money. How can you, I mean, really? Stop having kids. If you can't afford to look after yourself, don't have fucking kids. Very, very simple. I mean, and you can tell a chav by its accent and its mannerisms. And yes, I call it an it, not a person. It's an it. Go back to political correctness. Go fuck yourself. The chav language is like, it's not English anymore. They have their own lazy way of speaking. Absolutely awful. You know, it's like, you see like these, young mothers, you know, they look filthy, they stink, and they're going into the shop with their little kiddie, and the little kiddie, Mum, can I have this little sweetie please? It's only 15p. And it's like, no Justin, you can't. I'm not made of fucking money. And they beat the shit out of the kids in the shop because they asked for a sweet. Then what happens? They go to the till and they order themselves a packet of cigarettes, an energy drink, a scratch card and a hot pasty that they won't even share with the goddamn kids. Selfish little bastards. If you're selfish, stop having children. If you're a chav, do not have kids. The answer to it, shoot them. Chavs. Get rid of the chavs. They serve no purpose to society. In fact, they embarrass British people. There are too many of you. And do not do phone-ins on shows. Do not go on TV. We don't need the rest of the world looking at you, knowing that we look after you, that we have you in our country. You are a shame on the British public. Okay? And of course, chavs, in fact, they probably fit most of my top 10. Now, of course, there are other ones on the top 10 that I could probably move around and put other ones in. There are plenty of different reasons that I have issues with the UK as a whole. Okay? But you know what? I love the UK. I do. And I'm going to give you my 10 reasons why I love the UK. Number 10. Bit contradictory, of course. The weather. I hate hot weather. I can't have sex in hot weather when I go abroad. It's too fucking hot. Give me cold, windy, rainy, any day. Why? It helps me get a fucking hard on. That's one of them. Okay, number 9, the food. Yes, the food. The food is so much better in the UK than it is abroad. Don't get me wrong, there are some nice food abroad. Of course there is. But here in the UK, our food is the best. You can keep your intestine curries and your weird soups. We eat proper food, mostly from Greggs, no doubt, but even so. Now, of course, I can say this to a certain point of view. My wife being Moroccan, she cooks Moroccan food. It's okay, but British food is so much better. It really is. And the fact that we drive on the left-hand side of the road in at number 8. Why? Because most people in the world are right-handed. So it's safe to keep control of your car by holding onto the steering wheel with your right hand. Why? Because you change gears with a left hand. It's more important to keep control of your car, yes? But other people in different parts of the world who drive on the right hand side, they're only doing it just because to be different from the British. That's the truth of it. That's why they done it. And not because it's safer. That's the truth of it. Number 7, Britain is a place where people can be anything that they want and really not have to worry about too much in life. You can pretty much get whatever you want. If you want to be bone idle and lazy, legally, you can. Okay, but as I said, just try not to be number 2 on my hate list, which is, of course, lazy. But in the UK, if you want to be an actor, there are places you can go. If you want to be a singer, there are places you can go. If you want to be a lawyer, if you want to be a hospital nurse, you can be pretty much anything that you want to be. But just don't be fucking lazy would be the one. Number 6, why the United Kingdom, Great Britain, is great. We don't have dangerous creatures like snakes and spiders that will end your fucking life. Why do other countries have these things? Get rid of them. Oh, hang on. There's probably some political correctness as to why you can't. But we can go in the middle of the woods, in the forest, and not have to worry about getting bitten by a snake or a spider. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some creepy crawlies like that will bite you, but they're not going to fucking kill you. They'll just give you a bit of an itch. That's it. We are perfectly safe to go camping. I can get into my own bed without having to worry if there's a freaking tarantula or a rattlesnake in it. That's why the UK is brilliant, all right? Number 5, it's green, it's colourful, and we have the best countrysides in the world. Why? Because of our great weather. It rains and it's sunny and all that kind of stuff. That helps life grow, right? Our countrysides are magnificent. You will not find too much better countries for countryside. There might be a few places, of course, like, New Zealand have great countrysides, and so do many other countries, but we have them in abundance all over, in pretty much every county, except London, to be fair. You probably wouldn't really find one in London. It's too much of a city. But still, you know what? It's great. I love countrysides. And number 4, we actually have gun laws, which means less deaths associated with guns. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't happen. People manage to find them. In fact, even the police officers do not have guns unless they are really trained for their particular part of the job. Bobbies walking around the street don't have guns. People don't have guns. People do have them for clay pigeon shooting, and I don't know, is fox killing still allowed? I don't know. I don't particularly agree with all that kind of thing. But either way, for the best part, guns are not allowed. That's why, for example, places like America, people are being killed by maniacs, okay, with guns. Why? Because it's easier to shoot somebody from behind a brush or behind a tree or behind a wall. Just by shooting them, you don't have to get close to them, you shoot them from distance. Why? It's very, very easy to get a gun in America and walk into a school and start shooting up people or a shopping mall. We don't have that, okay? So we are a great country. Number 3, the NHS. Say what you like about the NHS, but guess what? It's fucking free. Don't matter what your role is in society. You can be rich, you can be poor. It doesn't matter. In between, it doesn't matter. Living on the damn street. If you get an illness, you can walk into any hospital and get looked after. We don't need insurance for it. We don't need nothing for it. It's free. Moan about the NHS all you like. Every country in the world would love to have it. No doubt about it. Number 2, the language. We are the reasons that most of the world speak English. But guess what? We own it. So people in Australia, you speak English. America, you speak English. Most other countries, you speak English. We own the language. We are the originators. We own the language. Now, of course, there might be some smart Alex out there going, well, actually, it's probably somebody. Fuck you, don't care. Number one reason why I love the UK. Very, very simple. Because it's fucking Great Britain. The greatest place on earth. We invented many, many sports and other things around the world that other people try to claim as theirs. Now, just because you're better at it than us doesn't mean you invented it. We invented it. We started it. And, I'll just give you the examples of sport. Talking boxing, talking football, I don't know, golf, rugby, tennis, whatever the hell. We probably started it. Maybe not all of it. I don't know this for a fact, but I'm pretty sure for most of it, we started it. You guys just perfected it. It's pretty much what happened. But even so, we invent things. We are a nation of great people with great minds who envisage things for the future that the rest of the world is influenced by. Great Britain is the greatest place on earth. And of course, we have the unified heavyweight champion of the world, and he's British. How about that? Anyway, just a little bit of fun. Hope nobody got too offended by that. If you did, okay, fuck you. Anyway, drop your thoughts below, click that thumbs up, subscribe. Catch you all on the next video.